Yes, it is definitely a time of celebration knowing that Jamie Spears will be stepping down as Britney's conservator, but there is still a long road ahead before she's actually free. Just because he's stepping down doesn't mean it's happening right away, and it doesn't mean that Britney is no longer in a conservatorship. I'm going to tell you all about it right here on IO, but first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. In a wild turn of events late last night, Jamie Spears filed legal papers that appear to be complying with the demands that Britney had set during her last court hearing. In the filing, he said, "There are, in fact, no actual grounds for suspending or removing Mr. Spears as the conservator of the estate under Probate Code section 2650, and it is highly debatable whether a change in conservator at this time would be in Ms. Spears' best interest." The documents also cited that due to the highly publicized nature of this court battle, this is cause for him to step down. So in reality, he is just paying lip service to the FreeBritney movement so that they leave him alone. As I said, this is a good step, but it's certainly not the end. The document goes on to say, "Nevertheless, even as Mr. Spears is the unremitting target of unjustified attacks, he does not believe that a public battle with his daughter over his continuing service as her conservator would be in her best interest. So even though he must contest this unjustified petition for his removal, Mr. Spears intends to work with the court and his daughter's new attorney to prepare for an orderly transition to a new conservator." Keyword, new conservator. No. We want no conservator. Britney had claimed that this entire conservatorship arrangement had been terrible for her, and even went as far as saying that her own father should be in jail. So you tell me why a conservator is still required for a woman that is happy and healthy all on her own. This would never happen to a male celebrity. Charlie Sheen was literally on national television saying that he had tiger blood and he was going on like fueled rants, but we didn't see Martin Sheen coming in saying, "Oh, we gotta lock my son up for his mental health." No, because in a free society, you were allowed to make your own mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Britney had no choice but to give up her individuality because what? She was going through a hard time in her life 13 years ago? The logic for keeping this going for so long is absolutely baffling. There is a reason why they tried to keep this a secret for so long, because look what happens when the conservatee is allowed to speak up, the house of cards just comes crashing down. Britney's lawyer seems happy with the progress, but thankfully he is not letting up on Jamie. Just because he's stepped down, it doesn't mean that he can be absolved from what he's done. Matthew Rosengart goes on to say, "We are pleased that Mr. Spears and his lawyer have today conceded in a filing that he must be removed. It is vindication for Britney. We are disappointed, however, by their ongoing shameful and reprehensible attacks on Ms. Spears and others. We look forward to continuing our vigorous investigation into the conduct of Mr. Spears and others over the past 13 years while he reaped millions of dollars from his daughter's estate, and I look forward to taking Mr. Spears' sworn deposition in the near future." Adding, "In the interim, rather than making false accusations and taking cheap shots at his own daughter, Mr. Spears should remain silent and step aside immediately." Now, to make things even more confusing, there are a number of reports that are also questioning the validity of Jamie Spears stepping down. People magazine reported that Jamie had not given up control over Britney's $60 million estate. Plus, his lawyer slammed Jamie's ex-wife Lynn, who had previously filed a petition urging the court to allow her daughter to hire her own lawyer, and claimed that Britney has a fear and hatred of Jamie. In response, Jamie's lawyer said, "Instead of criticizing Mr. Spears, Lynn should be thanking him for ensuring Miss Spears' well-being and for persevering through the years-long tenure requiring his 365 24/7 attention, long days and sometimes late nights to deal with the day-to-day and emergency issues, all to protect Miss Spears and those around her charged with protecting his daughter. Lynn has had only limited involvement in Miss Spears' life these last 13 years. She has not had a parental role in her life for decades." A lawyer for Lynn Spears also responded for comment and said, "Lynn Spears is pleased Jamie has agreed to step down. Lynn entered into this conservatorship to protect her daughter almost 3 years ago. She has accomplished what she has set out to do. She will have no further comment." Now, all of this does mean that Britney's voice is finally being heard, and I genuinely believe that there are people who are looking out for her best interest now, but just a day before the request for removal was filed, Jamie Spears claimed that Britney's personal conservator, Jody Montgomery, had expressed concern on a July phone call about Britney's mental health. The court documents state, "During our call, Ms. Montgomery sounded very distraught and expressed how concerned she was about my daughter's recent behavior and overall mental health. Ms. Montgomery explained that my daughter was not timely or properly taking her medications, was not listening to the recommendations of her medical team, and refused to even see some of her doctors." Oh, you mean she's acting like a free human being? You'd think that the people who are all about, national pride in America would be using Britney as a big example of what censorship and free speech stifling looks like. All of these people are talking on her behalf and claiming that they know what's best for her, but are they ever gonna just trust Britney like maybe she knows what's best for herself? Crazy thought, I know. What's absolutely twisted as well though is he actually said that he and Montgomery agreed that many of his daughter's statements during the last meetings were not true and attributed her statements to the fact that she is mentally sick. Jamie Spears added to the filing, speaking about Montgomery here, she raised potential options including a 5150 psychiatric hold. However, in response to that, Montgomery's attorney issued a statement countering this claim. Lorianne Wright said that Montgomery denied Mr. Spears' assertion and at no time did she express to Mr. Spears that Britney would qualify for such a hold. This claim by Jamie is just a last-ditch effort to keep some of his control. If Britney has the presence of mind to perform at a Las Vegas residency and do all of the work necessary for that, plus continue to earn her own money steadily, for which millions of that money went into Jamie's pocket, then his argument is absolutely not valid. But we would love to hear your thoughts on all of this though, and don't forget to drop us a comment down below. And while you do that, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled, Jamie Spears steps down as Britney's conservator. The Bow Street Stunner 5x5 says he really had no choice. The amount of heat he was getting for this, there was no way with so many eyes on him he could just carry on. The world is watching, free Britney. The world is definitely watching, and I do think you made a good point there. It's just the public pressure. He still has control. He still has control. Just because he says he's stepping down, we'll wait until Britney announces that herself. 8-Bit Daydream says, I'll celebrate when Britney herself says she's free. Couldn't agree more. V-Man says, thank goodness, no surprise he's trying to act like the victim. Yeah, he's trying to act like the victim and the hero at the same time. Very confusing. Amy Tapscott says, I don't think unconditionally also required your daughter's money as a condition. That's just me though. Good point, Amy. Good point. Mark Alexander says, this is a great step forward, but we're still a long way from Britney being free again. 100%, but it is coming. It is coming. Slowly but surely it is coming. But guys, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try. Jamie Spears has finally agreed to step down and relinquish the control that he had over his daughter for the last 13 years. This is a major milestone for the Free Britney movement, and I'm going to tell you all about it right here on I.O. But first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. TMZ has just reported that Jamie's lawyer has filed legal documents in which he says, there are in fact no actual grounds for suspending or removing Mr. Spears as the conservator of the estate, and it is highly debatable whether a change in conservator at this time would be in Ms. Spears' best interests. However, he then changes his tone and even points blame at the Free Britney campaign by saying, nevertheless, even as Mr. Spears is the unremitting target of unjustified attacks, he does not believe that a public battle with his daughter over his continuing service as her conservator would be in her best interests. So, even though he must contest this unjustified petition for his removal, Mr. Spears intends to work with the court and his daughter's new attorney to prepare for an orderly transition to a new conservator. And the document continues by saying that regardless of his former title, Jamie will always be her father and will always love her unconditionally and will always look out for her best interests. He then, however, decides to take a moment to attack Lynn Spears as well. You know, the mother of this daughter that he loves so very much. He said her credibility is undermined because Britney had refused to see Lynn when she was at the mental health facility in 2019. He did, however, confirm that Lynn has had little involvement in the conservatorship, but then, he also tacked on little involvement in Britney's life for the last 13 years as well. He's weirdly acting like some sort of savior, too, for Britney, even as he departs this conservatorship. He says again in these documents that he saved Britney when she was in crisis, desperately in need of help 13 years ago, adding not only was she suffering mentally and emotionally, she was also being manipulated by predators and in financial distress. Mr. Spears came to his daughter's rescue to protect her. And Britney's lawyer Matthew Rosengard did respond to the news as well and said that they are pleased but not really surprised by it, also adding that they were disappointed in the ongoing shameful and reprehensible attacks on Ms. Spears and others. He goes on to say, we look forward to continuing our vigorous investigation into the conduct of Mr. Spears and others over the past 13 years while he reaped millions of dollars from his daughter's estate, and I look forward to taking Mr. Spears' sworn deposition in the near future. In the interim, rather than making false accusations and taking cheap shots at his own daughter, Mr. Spears should step aside immediately. But we would love to hear your thoughts on all of this, so make sure you drop us a comment down below. But for now, I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try. In new court documents that have been released, it seems as though Britney's father tried to object to her going on vacation. He ultimately relented, but her attorney is now arguing that this very objection is just another reason of why he needs to be removed from the conservatorship. I'm going to tell you all about it right here on I.O., but first I gotta tell you about this brand new top 10 channel that we are premiering called Bumblebee. Bumblebee is the next big channel for lovers of the strange, mysterious, and everything else. We have also worked hard on this channel for months, and the launch date is set for August 11th. And I believe we actually have a special promo for you all to enjoy. Roll the clip.
Oh, hi.
Hey Bumblebees, are you ready for the biggest top 10 channel yet? Because if you are, you need to go like and subscribe to Bumblebee right now.
You can be the first one to hop on there and make a really gross bee pun because we've been busy.
So make sure you check out that channel when it comes out, tap that like button to show us some love, and with that out of the way, let's begin. In new court papers, Britney's attorney recently exposed that her father had disapproved of her wanting to travel to Hawaii for vacation last month. He argued that even though he did change his mind, the very fact that he could so easily object just emphasized why removing him is so important for Britney's freedom. Her attorney Matthew Rosengard cited this dispute in their application that was filed to the LA County Superior Court. This move was done to set up another hearing on September 29 so the courts can hear again why Britney needs to remove him from her estate. In the filing, he writes, "In short, although a 2-month wait for a hearing on the petition may not seem significant in the context of 13 years, Ms. Spears should not be forced to continue to feel traumatized, lose sleep, and suffer further. Every day matters." Later adding that while rescheduling this hearing for Britney's request to an earlier date is important, the immediate suspension of Jamie Spears would be the most effective way to remedy the situation. And if you follow Britney online, then you'll know how much she loves going to Hawaii. Recently, she made a post detailing her trip and said in the caption, "Well damn, I did it again, Maui Part 2. This footage is more current though from yesterday. I'm driving the cheapest car known to mankind, but it's pretty fun. I like the sound of the ocean at night and I like hearing people laughing from my balcony. There's a togetherness here and it's endless. Here's me playing in the dirt and making angels in the sand and the ocean. More to come, more to share, more to dream, more to hope for, and many more to pray for. God bless you all. Here's to Maui." Now going back to the court filings though, this move by Rosengart is going to bring about a lot of change. Not only did he expose the control that Jamie has on small stuff like her wanting to spend her own money on vacation, but it also puts him in a hypocritical light, which is not really that great for public opinion, especially when it comes to decisions about how to spend his daughter's money. According to the court documents, counsel for Jamie has cost Britney's estate, and get ready for this number, $1,356,293 in attorney fees, and that's just from October 2020 to June 2021. Plus, he also makes sure to pay himself a cool $16,000 a month, plus $2,000 a month just for office expenses. Rosengart goes on to talk about this saying, "These spendthrift ways are particularly problematic when contrasted with his stringent, absolutely microscopic control Mr. Spears has exerted over his daughter, evidently since her childhood and continuing through to today." Now, with support from her mother and her medical team all endorsing the removal of Jamie Spears from the conservatorship, we could actually see something being done here. In closing, Rosengart said in his filing, "In short, for a variety of legitimate, compelling reasons in the Conservative's best interest, the time has come for Mr. Spears' reign to end." But we would love to hear your thoughts on all of this though, so don't forget to drop us a comment down below. And while you do that, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled, "Top 10 Rappers that are pro-LGBTQ." Ivan Molina says, "We need more videos like this to show not all hip-hop artists are against LGBT community." 100%, I couldn't agree more, and I actually love doing more positive lists like that. I find that a lot of negative titles for some reason end up getting more views and more clicks, and it breaks my heart, honestly, because I don't want to do all of these negative videos about celebrities, but it's what people are watching for some reason. That being said, I will do my best to insert as much positivity as I possibly can. Introverted Potato says, "I haven't even listened to Lil Nas X before, but that comment at the end is priceless. It feels like he alone can crush toxic masculinity, but it's better that we all do it together. Away with toxicity, more love and acceptance." We also have to separate, masculinity of just being like a strength and toxic masculinity as being this like creepy thing that some men do. There is a difference between the two. Dream Thief says, "I love Chance the Rapper's brother Bennett Taylor. His music is so good. I have yet to hear Bennett Taylor's songs, but I am definitely going to check him out." Raya says, "How did Nicki Minaj get a concert in Saudi Arabia in the first place?" Money. Lots of money there. TunesL69 says, "I am a simple person. I see anything LGBTQ related, I click." Well, I'm happy that we could provide for you. But guys, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try. And I believe that we have a special promo, and I believe we all, one more time, and I believe we have tons of bloopers for his video of the day. And I believe we actually have one more time.
Fans are starting to become concerned about Britney Spears once again, following multiple strange posts to Instagram. Some are even wondering if Britney has any say in what is posted to her Instagram, or if she's being blackmailed by her father in some way. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into all the details. But first, make sure to subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more. After After Britney exposed the truth about her conservatorship during her June court hearing, many fans are questioning everything that we see from the star, as it's become clear that she has had zero control of her life during this conservatorship. Fans are particularly looking at her Instagram because that's been the place where fans have had the most contact with Britney. During the hearing, she said, quote, "I've lied and told the whole world that I'm okay and happy. It's a lie. I thought that maybe if I said it enough, I would become happy because I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I am traumatized. I'm so angry, it's insane, and I'm depressed." Right after her court address, red flags already started popping up. In one of her first posts after the hearing, she's on a private jet, saying how she's going back to Maui for a vacation. However, fans could tell this content was from an earlier vacation, even though the Instagram caption was trying to make it seem like it had just been taken. And there are countless other examples of photos being used multiple times over and over. In response to all the questions surrounding Britney's social media posts, Cassie Petrie, a co-founder of the digital marketing company CrowdSurf, denied allegations that a team posts on behalf of Britney. Petrie said, quote, "Britney finds the Google images, Pinterest images, quotes, memes, and everything else herself. Nobody's suggesting any of that stuff to her. She generally edits the videos herself. If a video she sends in is edited by her social media team, it's because she gave specific instructions and asked for it to be edited that way." Petrie also shut down rumors that Britney is trying to send a message through her posts. However, the directors of the recent FX Hulu documentary Framing Britney Spears, Samantha Stark, does not assume that anything on Britney's Instagram is actually from her, with her saying, quote, "It would be questionable to me whether she was running an account that speaks to millions of people around the world herself." Following the court statement, Britney's Instagram posts have also changed considerably. At first, fans thought Britney got her Instagram back because she was posting things that sounded like her true self. These posts were critical of the conservatorship and her family, so people assumed that it was truly Britney posting these things. But now her posts are just kind of strange. Firstly, a lot of her most recent photos are of herself topless, which is something people are not used to seeing on Britney's page. Fans also noticed that one of her topless photos was deleted, then reposted several times. As of now, no one's really sure as to why. In the comments of the photos, fans seem very concerned and confused. In one photo, the comments read, one person said, "I feel like these are being posted by someone else." Another said, "Am I the only one that's getting really concerned about this?" Then another post had comments like, "This is so confusing but still love you," and another person said, "Something suspicious is going on." So it's very clear that Britney's fans do not think this behavior is normal and are very concerned that something just more sketchy is happening behind the scenes. Even more suspicious, all the pictures of herself topless that she posted are from the exact same day because she's wearing the same shorts. At this point, I'm pretty confused because there are a lot of signs from her posting that she's not actually the one that posts, but then posts of her criticizing her family, specifically her sister Jamie Lynn, are still up, and I'm sure that her family would want those down if they had that sort of control. But it also could just be a big ploy to make it seem like Britney is in charge of what she's posting when she's actually not. Some even think this is some sort of blackmail and her family is forcing Britney to do these strange poses in exchange for freedom. Guys, please let me know your thoughts on this one below. I know there's a lot to unpack, it's very strange. Also, if you're following Britney on her Instagram, what have you been thinking about her most recent posts? Because I'm definitely feeling just a sketchy vibe, and I don't think after that hearing she would just, have automatically gotten control over social media again. I think they're trying to play tricks on us, and it's clearly not working. But before I go, I'm gonna shout out some comments from my last video on Kanye West. Fallon said, "He needs people in his life who really care about his well-being enough to influence him to take a break and really heal from the inside." Yeah, it's really sad that, his relationship with Kim didn't work out because I feel are so good for each other, or they seem perfect for each other, super in love, and obviously, beautiful kids together. But yeah, I hope Irina has been good for him. And someone else said, "I think he would have been happier if his mother was still here. He's probably just a little lost knowing that he has no one to support him like a mother does." Yeah, I also don't think that Kanye has any siblings, or I've never heard him speak of any siblings, so it seems like it's kind of just him, and the Kardashian family was really all he had, so I think it's even more heartbreaking going through this divorce because he's literally losing all of his family, the only family that he knows. Then Savannah said, "You can see the difference in Kanye's face in the pictures with his mom." You kind of can. Someone even pointed out the pictures of Kanye before when his mom was alive to now, his whole vibe is just so different. And yeah, not really in a good way. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thanks so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and you want to see some more, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith. Make sure to check us out on social media, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
If you watched our video on the dark truth about Jamie Lynn Spears, then you'll know that she has been feuding with her sister on Instagram for the past few weeks. On top of that, she put out a video defending herself to the FreeBritney movement, but many people did not take her seriously. Additionally, she keeps getting exposed for lying, and today you're not going to believe what she did now. I'm going to tell you all about it right here on IO in just a moment, but first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Britney Spears fans are exposing Jamie Lynn Spears right now after her husband was caught in 4K peeping one of Britney's latest Instagram posts. Her husband Jamie Watson can clearly be seen in an image that was posted by Jamie Lynn herself, checking out a post from his sister-in-law. Eagle-eyed supporters of the FreeBritney movement noticed that he was looking at this post from Britney that said, "Do you know what really turns me on? What I find incredibly sexy? Kindness." And what fans were upset about though was that her husband was checking out a post that was literally smack dab in the middle of two photos of Britney topless. And the Britney Stan account tweeted about this and said, "Not Jamie Lynn's husband checking out the book post in between Britney's tits. How embarrassing." Other accounts online also thought that it was very strange that Jamie Lynn and her husband would be keeping such a close eye on Britney's social media, especially after Jamie Lynn said that she didn't really care about how her sister wanted to live her life, although we all know deep down that she really cares about what's happening right now. Britney is finally getting the chance to talk about how her family treated her in this 13-year conservatorship, and unfortunately for Jamie Lynn, that meant that she too was going to get exposed. If you recall from the Dark Truth video that I did, Jamie Lynn surprised her sister at an award show. And when speaking about that night, Britney said, "I don't like that my sister showed up at an award show and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support system hurt me deeply. This conservatorship killed my dreams, so all I have is hope, and hope is the only thing in this world that is very hard to kill, yet people still try. I didn't like the way that the documentaries bring up humiliating moments from my past. I'm way past all that and have been for a long time." After that post, it became even more apparent that these two simply can't stand each other. Well, at least we know that Britney can't stand her little sister. More fans pointed out the obsession that Jamie and her husband have right now though with Britney's social media and said, "Jamie Lynn and her husband are obsessed with Britney." Now what's wild here is that all of this only came about because Jamie Lynn was attempting to defend herself against some critics. These critics had slammed her for implying that Britney's Florida condo was also owned by her. In the caption of the post where she accidentally exposed what her husband was looking at on his phone, Jamie Lynn said, "I don't own a condo and I can assure you that no one has ever bought me a place at the beach because I prefer my beach vacations at the Ritz anyways. Simple facts y'all need to stop reaching." Although to refresh Jamie's memory, she did tweet out in 2015, "We have a condo in Destin, Florida and it's the best getaway." So it's not really that much of a reach for people to assume that she was talking about the condo that Britney's money had paid for. This comes just days after a report suggested that Britney paid for a condo that Jamie Lynn has apparently claimed as her own on several occasions, despite her assertion that she isn't on her sister's payroll. However, according to tax documents that were obtained by The Sun, Britney had indeed purchased a condo in Destin, Florida back in 2001 before this conservatorship was put into place. Now at the very least, this means that Jamie Lynn has probably been taking advantage of this vacation home for many years, which is actually something that Britney mentioned during her testimony on July 14th. After her June testimony went so viral, the courts did not allow for the July 14th hearing to be recorded again, although a FreeBritney advocate managed to make their way inside and reported that Britney said her family was vacationing in her beach house while she was locked up in the mental facility against her will. "There must be something wrong with you," Britney said Jamie told her as to why she was there. Now what is super ridiculous here is that the first photo of Jamie's husband creeping Britney's profile was later edited by Jamie and reposted before being deleted altogether. Over top of her husband's phone, she added a banner that reads, "He's always working." I mean, if you call keeping tabs on his sister-in-law working, then yeah, I guess he's been hard at work. But we would love to hear your thoughts on all of this though, so don't forget to drop us a comment down below. And while you do that, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled "Rapper DaBaby Gets Cancelled After Homophobic Rant." Just some guy without a mustache says, "The Twitter mob is really eating this man alive right now." Oh, certainly they are. And I saw a lot of people too saying that like, anytime that we report on a celebrity getting canceled, people think it's us that are canceling them. Not the case. I at least haven't done that personally, but we always report on what the internet is canceling. So that's where that comes from, just for some clarity. Our Sun and Stars says, "Wow, his apology was ridiculously insensitive, but whatever, it'll blow over, shaking my head." Unfortunately, it probably will blow over because that's just how the internet goes nowadays. Taylor Miller says, "Doesn't surprise me at all." Interesting, it surprised me a little bit. Ghost Town Conqueror says, "Who honestly cares, bro?" You must have enough to comment. And click on the video. Strange comments. Tiny Elephant and Kitten says, "Oh, come on, I really liked him. Why do you have to mess this up and be homophobic?" I don't know, that's why they say don't meet your heroes. But either way, guys, that has been the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube. Or at least try. Just double check, because I'm like, did she honestly marry someone that has the exact same name as her? I didn't realize that after I wrote it. I just want to double check. Just search Jamie Watson, Jamie Lynn Spears. I'm sorry, editing team. Who is Jamie Lynn's husband? Does it say James Watson or something?
Just says her name, doesn't say his though. So
Jamie.
yeah, Jamie Watson.
Dad. She named someone with the same name as her. What is wrong with this family? Okay, let me take that again. Photo 1.